Hello everybody, and welcome back to the STEAM Train. I hope you guys are all doing well, and I am Mr. Dorian with New Minds. First, I have an announcement, is that we just finished our amazing cardboard challenge. The cardboard challenge was a lot of fun, and we had a lot of kids participate in it. But the cool thing is, you guys actually sent us pictures of what you made during the cardboard challenge. I saw 3 super awesome creations from the time I looked. I saw a basketball game. I saw a maze that somebody held up and you were able to tilt and go through. I saw a Hogwarts castle. And I saw some other amazing creations too. Those are the first 3 I saw that stuck out to me, but there were lots of amazing entries. And I'm super excited to see what you made. If you want to check that out, go to newminds.tv/earthday2020. And even though the challenge is done, you can still do it and try and complete it yourself. There's no time limit to imagination and creativity. So do it yourself. See what you can make too. Back to our episode. You notice I have some dice in front of you today. If you're part of the Masters of the Dungeonverse program, you know what these dice are. They are role-playing dice. We have all sorts of different sides. And if you watch Mr. Adams' show, you've seen there's a lot of different ways to make something randomized. What we're going to do is we're going to use the Week of Recycling, and we're going to make an awesome recycled project to help our dice be completely random, where we don't even have to touch them to roll them. What we're going to do is we're going to make something super awesome, and it looks like this. Now this is a Lego one I made, but this is called a dice tower. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. They usually look like a castle or some sort, just to be cute. But the fun thing is that when you put your dice in, they're actually going to go through a whole bunch of ramps and slides, and they're going to come out rolled for you. So I got a 3 on that one. It's going to be different every time I drop it. That time I got an 11. So the cool thing is, I'm going to show you really quick. If you look in here, there's actually a bunch of ramps, a bunch of bumps, so it won't get stuck anywhere, and it has to flip and turn a bunch of times inside. That's how this works, and it works for all different dice. The cool thing is, you can put a whole bunch in at the same time, and they won't get stuck. That's way faster than I could roll them with my hand. I'd probably drop some of them. But now I can just drop a whole bunch in here. They'll all roll, come out the bottom, and look super awesome. I'll do it one more time because it makes a nice noise. And I have a freshly batch of rolled dice. So if you make this project, it'll be something super awesome that you can use while you're doing the Dungeons & Dragons program. And it's also a lot of fun just to have dice to roll. Let me fix mine, and I'll show you how you can make one. Let's go ahead and get out our supplies. All we have is, first, we have a big, complete box. You might recognize this from the cardboard challenge. I didn't end up using it, but I have this big cheese crackers box. It needs to be kind of tall, so something this size, like a pancake mix box, a pretzel box, anything of this shape will work really, really well. And it does need to be closable on all sides. This one's open, but I could tape it closed with no problem. I've got some toilet paper tubes. Any sort of cardboard will work. I've got tape, as always, and scissors. So what we're going to do with this project is, first we're going to open this up so we can get to the inside, but we want to do it in a way where we can close it back up when we're done. So I'm going to show you one way to do this, but we're going to make sure to carefully open the box. The top is opened. I didn't rip it open. I opened the flaps correctly. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to find the flaps. I'm going to carefully open it. So that way all the flaps open in their correct way. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to cut one side of the box open. So I'm going to cut right along the corner line. The more on the corner you are, the better this will turn out. And this is meant to be a tool to help you in the Dungeons & Dragons program, so you can help roll a bunch of dice really fast. So I have my open box. You'll see it makes a big flat sheet. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and close this up when we're done. So you want to make sure you don't cut anywhere in the box. We're going to add some ramps and slides in here. Because all that happens when you drop something is it goes down a series of ramps and slides, and then it goes ahead and it slides its way down. So I'm going to go ahead and cut open this tube. Just cut it in half to make our first slide. Just like this. When I hold up my tube, I know that it is the same size as this thin edge. It's just as wide. And that's exactly what I want. The more closely it matches to this, the less of a chance that our dice will get stuck. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this side. We're going to start from the bottom. The easier way to make it come out is I want it to come out towards the edge of the big piece. So I'm going to tape my tube so it stays open on the bottom of this flap. Just like this. So I'm just going to tape it on. And I'm actually going to tape the two of them together. If you have hot glue, this would be an awesome time. I actually ran out of hot glue during my cardboard challenge. But if you watch Mr. T's awesome videos, you'll see not hundreds, but you'll see a lot of awesome ways to attach cardboard together. I'm actually going to make this 2 tubes, so that way it's wide enough that nothing will fall through the bottom and get stuck. The bottom piece is probably the most important. There we go. There we go. And now it is taped on, and I have kind of like a slide. If you watch our Simple Machine lessons, you know this is an inclined plane. It's a simple machine. And I'm just going to tape these two together a little bit more so they stick like a slide. And as always, when I'm doing an invention or a creation, we want to do lots of testing. So the first test I'm going to do is I'm just going to set a dice on it and see if it slides down. Now the cool thing about this being a box is it will stand up. I'm just going to set a dice on it, and it doesn't actually slide. It doesn't come all the way to the bottom unless it has some speed. So I'm going to need to make this ramp steeper. I'm going to need to make it a bigger incline. So since I've taped the two together, I could just untape it, pivot it a little bit. And I actually want to separate them a bit because they're going to be a different length now that they are steeper. Tape them together. And now I have a steep ramp. So I'm going to set my dice on here now. And it always slides down. If you have multiple dice, the best one to test is the 6-sided dice because it probably has the best chance of getting stuck because it's the most flat surfaces. And you'll see it actually slides down every time. No matter where I drop it from, it slides down. No matter what. It always slides down. I could try all of them. They all slide down. Something else I want to make sure to do is that I attach it to this thin spine. So I'm going to fold this backside and tape this backside to the end of the slide. And I'm going to keep it partially closed like this, so that way I can have my 2 walls that I'm going to use as structure. So we're going to tape it onto this wall, just that way if all else fails, this part is at least stable. I'm facing it towards me so I can tape it. I'll turn it back to you guys in just 1 second, so don't worry. Fold this open. Looking awesome. Make sure I don't have any sticky pieces of tape showing, because if I have sticky tape showing, then a dice might get stuck on it. And that's not what we want. now for the next step, we're actually going to do something on the other side. So we have our first ramp. What we're going to need, let me go ahead and tape these two together. I'm actually going to tape the flaps to the bottom together already. We're actually going to need to do a couple things. First, we're going to need to cut the flap that the dice are going to come out of. Because when we drop it in the top of the box, we want them to actually come out of somewhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a hole right where this barcode is on mine. But this other thin flap, we're going to cut the bottom about an inch or two off. I'm just going to eyeball it. As long as it's taller than a dice by a little bit, you'll be A-okay. So I cut about this much. My dice is kind of short. And then I'm going to cut off the rest of it. Now I'm going to cut the flap off. This bottom piece is going to come with it. And once that's cut off, we'll actually have the exit for our dice. And we're actually almost done with this project. We just have one more thing to attach. So we need at least 2 ramps so that way it has some variety. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the second ramp on this top piece. When it folds closed, I want them to go in opposite directions. But when I unfold it, it's actually going to look like one big slide. And this piece is actually not supposed to cross the whole thing. So I'm just going to cut one tube in half. Like so. Just like this. And if I put it open, it should look like it's going to slide into the other piece. So it should be on this half all the way over here. And I'm going to do the same thing and tape it to this edge. And then I'll actually have a mostly finished project. So I'm going to go ahead, tape this one tube on. And the reason we're doing it like this is that when we close it, we have a completely closed box that looks really smooth. I'm going to tape it on. I'm going to check the angle first, make sure nothing gets stuck. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good to me. Once I know the angle's good, I'm going to tape it onto this wall. I'm actually going to move it a little closer to the wall so I can tape it a little bit better. And make sure that this piece, oh, let's open it so you can see. Make sure that this piece does not go in front of this piece. So when I close it, I should be able to see a gap between the two pieces. So when I look inside, I see a big gap in there. That's perfect. So I'm going to open it. I'm going to finish taping this on, make it look nice and secure. And then I will actually have a finished dice tower. All I have to do is close my box shut, and then I can use it for the Dungeons & Dragons program. Maybe I have my own game I made up. Anything that has you roll dice, you can use this tower. Maybe if you're playing something like Clue or Sorry, you can use this dice roller. It's a lot of fun, and it also helps, especially if you have a problem where your dice roll away all the time. This is a good thing to use. So now what we're going to need to do is we're just going to close the box up once everything is nice and secure. You'll see you have a chute that comes out of this hole, and you'll see you have a big open top. All we need to do is put tape on the bottom flaps so that they stick together, and then we're going to have to put tape on the side so it sticks together again, and we have a box shape. Once our box is rebuilt, we will actually have finished this project. It's something super quick, but it uses recycled materials, and you can use it for a lot of different things. So I think it's a perfect project for our week of recycling, and it helps out with the Dungeonverse show, which I really enjoy. I really love the adventures that go on. One of my favorite ones was the one with Hercules in it. That was one of my favorite adventures. So if you haven't seen those, go check them out on newminds.tv. It's not just the steam train up there, it's all of the other awesome segments. One more. Now I'm just going to tape these flaps down because I don't like how they open up. So I'm just going to put some tape on these flaps. But first, before I do that, I'm going to do a test. So if I drop this dice in, it should come out this bottom. 2. Let's see if it's different. Uh-oh. It looks like we have a hole. So my dice went in, but it didn't come out. It didn't come out. So I kind of have a gap between this tube and the wall. And that's going to happen. All you're going to want to do is go in, make a little piece of cardboard to make it a little bit better. And then you can finish your project, make it work smoothly. Mistakes are going to happen sometimes. I'm just going to add some tape so it works like a slide, and then it'll fall in. Let me see if I can reach it there. This is why we always test it, and we did it while it was open, so it's going to be a little bit easier to put together. It's hard to reach inside the box and tape things, but it is possible. It looks like I got it fixed. Now when I drop things in, they all roll out the bottom. I put 4 dice in and 4 came out. So I have this finished project. I'm going to put my finishing touches. If I really want to go all out, I can paint, cover the other side in construction paper, decorate it, make it look really pretty. But this is my finished dice tower. You always want to test your biggest dice and your smallest dice to make sure they both work in it. I'm going to finish taping these. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to you guys. Thank you for tuning in to another Real Inspired Learning with New Minds. Keep practicing your passions until they become your talents, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this project. Thank you guys for watching. Check out the Dungeonverse on newminds.tv, and have a wonderful rest of